Hey, good afternoon, folks. Aaron Dorr here, policy advisor with Wyoming gun owners. I want to give you guys an update on what happened about an hour and a half ago, maybe 2 hours ago now in Cheyenne in the Judiciary Committee on a gun control bill that's been working behind the scenes in the interim committee process for quite some time. So as you guys get tuned in, let me know where you're watching from. Post your location in the comments section. Let us know where you're watching from. And any questions you have, post those as well, and we'll answer those in the video if we have time today. But a lot of you guys have heard about Fix NICS. This is the bill that's been pushed by Dianne Feinstein for years and years and years in Washington, D.C. She could not get it done. It took turncoat Republican John Cornyn from Texas to finally get this bill passed in 2018 at the federal level. And so at the state level, state lawmakers have been considering similar legislation here for Wyoming. And so what Fix NICS would do, and it's been very confusing because we have had almost no access to a working draft of the bill. Even lawmakers have had almost no access to an actual working draft of the bill. It's been kept behind closed doors, if you will, ever since this first came up in January in Cheyenne. And so in a nutshell, though, what the bill would do is create a system where anybody who was tagged with a mental health disqualifier or a mental health situation would have their names automatically inserted into the federal prohibited persons list via the NICS system. And so Fix NICS is purported to be necessary because they want to keep guns out of the hands of bad people. And so when the National Shooting Sports Federation or Foundation, when their head honcho lobbyist, Nephi Cole, first approached me in Cheyenne in January and he asked if we would stand down on this, well, I laughed in his face, because while we can all agree that we need to keep guns out of the hands of dangerous people, we also would all agree that there needs to be a protocol, there needs to be a legal due process standard that actually protects the rights of people who are falsely accused. Because after all, we all know of situations where somebody can be falsely accused of a situation and basically you're guilty before you ever had your day in court. And a Fix NICS bill is a form of a red flag gun seizure law. And we had great people testifying today. One mental health staffer testified today, and he wasn't so much, on the pro-gun side or anti-gun side. He simply said that, look, as a professional in this field, I know there's a whole lot of people be brought before me by law enforcement who need to talk to somebody, but that's a far cry from somebody who has been adjudicated mentally defective. And so he said, if you go down this road where, even being taken to go and visit with a psychiatrist by law enforcement is going to put you on the prohibited persons list, where does that end? And more importantly, as he was saying, the people who do need help are never going to get it because they're never going to seek help if they know that it's going to cost them their right to keep and bear arms. And so in many ways, this Fix NICS garbage that has been considered for the last 10 months now in Cheyenne is a form of red flag gun seizures. And when it comes to mental health issues, if you see a psychiatrist, there is no guarantee that you would not have your guns taken away. We've all heard the examples of older people who have lost their ability perhaps to manage their finances, who've lost the ability to take care of some of those aspects of their life. And all of a sudden, because of that, they are declared mentally defective and they lose their right to defend themselves. I don't know about you, but I think it's bullshit. The idea that just because, my grandparents are in their 80s, my grandparents are in their mid 80s, and, right now they're sharp as a tack, but that time's not going to last forever. And so just because my grandfather would turn to me as grandson or turn to my parents, his daughter and say, hey, I need some help with my finances. I need to make sure that some, charlatan doesn't, sell me a fake bill of goods and bankrupt me just because he needs help with that. That does not in any way, shape, or form mean that he has law or should lose the right to defend himself or his wife, grandmother, in their own home. And that is the kind of stuff that we're talking about with Fix Nicks. You know, the idea that Nephi Cole, he is the lobbyist for the National Shooting Sports Federation, the idea that that Republicans are talking about this, that Nephi Cole is trying to, and in case you don't know who he is, Nephi is a part of the old guard, the old moderate trash guard of Matt Mead. And when Governor Mead vetoed our bill in 2017 to rid Wyoming of deadly gun-free zones, you know, guys like Nephi Cole are part of the brain trust who were advising the governor. It was Nephi Cole in 2018 who told us and told myself and told lawmakers that he had been dispatched to Colorado to meet with the radical Democrats at the state capitol in Colorado to figure out how they could craft a red flag gun seizure bill in Wyoming. And so Nephi Cole, once Matt Mead was booted out of office, Nephi had to find another job. He gets a job as a lobbyist with the NSSF, and he's sitting there trying to trade on his old contacts to pass this bill in the interim committee when tensions are at a lower threshold, so as to make it easier to pass the bill when session resumed. The fact that Nephi and Republican moderates are pushing the same legislation that Dianne Feinstein pushed for all those years in Washington, D.C., that should tell us all we need to know about this legislation and about the type of moderate people that occupy so many seats in our legislature. It is a mess. It is a mess. So, as of today, that bill was struck down in the Joint Judiciary Committee. That means that the first and most easy path for advancing this bill is gone, is done. But it doesn't mean that they cannot find a bill sponsor to introduce the bill next session in January. I guess it'd probably be late January, probably be in February this year, short session and all. That they could not find a moderate scoundrel who is probably not going to seek re-election to refile the bill and try again next year, next session in February. So it's kind of one of those deals. This is very much a whack-a-mole situation because this bill came up in 2014 and Wyoming gun owners beat it to death and killed it in the legislature. And it came back up again now in 2019. This is not going to go away. This fight's not going to end permanently. We're going to have to always be on our guard on this. I want to make sure, though, and point out the fact that while WYGO members were working on the outside on this, tremendous debt of gratitude is owed to two lawmakers, two guys who are willing to actually fight for gun owners, fight for their constituents in opposition to this bill. You know, this happens every year in Cheyenne. We have all these people, everybody's pro-gun, everybody loves the Second Amendment. After all, it's Wyoming, right? So everybody's pro-gun. The problem is that no one wants to actually fight for gun owners once they're in session, right? That's how it works. And so that's why bills last session, or bill last year, to rid the state of gun-free zones in government buildings died. Because even though we had 35, 36 co-sponsors, the moderates in charge put it to a kill committee, and Chairwoman Nethercott and the Judiciary Committee and her allies, they just kill the bill and they move on. But two lawmakers especially stood out today who fought hard for gun owners, and they deserve to have their names mentioned in this video. And so a big shout out is due to Senator Anthony Bouchard. Senator Bouchard, as you guys probably all know, he's been Wyoming's warhorse for gun owners for a dozen years. As you guys probably know, he ran Wyoming gun owners before he went and joined the dark side, as I like to tell him, and got himself elected to the Wyoming Senate in 2016. And Anthony has been our lead bill sponsor on Stand Your Ground law, which passed in 2018. He's been our lead sponsor on trying to rid Wyoming of deadly gun-free zones. The bill that got 34 or 35 co-sponsors this session. And he was there today. Didn't have to be there. He's not on the committee. It's not his assignment, but the bill is being heard today, and he got there, happened to be in Cheyenne, so he was close by. But I know Anthony, and whether it was in Cheyenne, whether it was in Rollins, whether it was in Casper, you know, he'd have been there. And he was there, and he made sure that lawmakers knew that this is bad politics, this is bad policy, and if you guys go out there and support this, you're going to answer to the members of Wyoming gun owners. So a major thank you to Senator Bouchard, and equally strong a thank you to Representative Salazar. Representative Tim Salazar is on the Judiciary Committee, and he was there today and gave a stirring rebuke to this legislation. And his point was very simple. You know, if you're not adjudicated defective, if you're not actually convicted beyond just somebody's say-so, then where does this end? Where does this go? And Representative Salazar has been instrumental in helping behind the scenes to make sure that people knew just how bad this bill was and why they should be opposed to it. And so, you know, we're very free with our criticism on this platform because, frankly, there's an awful lot of people who need to be criticized for being spineless cowards and two-bit liars, frankly, when it comes to your gun rights in Cheyenne. But these two guys routinely stand up. They routinely fight. They routinely are willing to risk the anger of their own caucus, if necessary, to fight for gun owners. And so I want to make sure we thank them. But again, guys, this is not done. I mean, it's done for today. It's done for now. And it was hit with a sizable setback. But this is not done, and it's not going to go away. If you guys are not yet a member of Wyoming Gun Owners, the link is in the video. If not, if you can't see it, it's really simple. It's joinwygo.com. joinwygo.com. Get involved in this fight, guys. We need you to be on board. It's going to come back next session. There is a constant conversation taking place about red flag gun seizures going on as well. We all know how moderate leadership in Cheyenne is. They always are trying to make our great state into the next Colorado, you know, the next moderate crap hole that has to adopt all this radical gun control. The fight for red flags, it's far from over. It's far from over. Our fights that rid the state of gun-free zones in government buildings, far from over. Far from over. And frankly, our fight to fix preemption law, to fix the abuse that allows UW to pass their own gun control and arrest gun owners over their stupid campus policies that are in violation of state law. Our preemption fight is not over either. And so, guys, get involved in this fight at joinwygo.com, joinwygo.com. And again, share this video on your personal Facebook page. Tag your friends in the comment section. Make sure folks know what's going on. This battle is going on all the time, whether or not gun owners see it. And it's important that they know that this fight for freedom, it doesn't just take place for 2 or 3 months in January through March in Cheyenne. This fight is going on all the time. And there are patriots out there who are fighting all the time for gun rights in Wyoming. If you guys can join us in that fight, we'd be honored to have you. It's joinwygo.com. More to come, guys, in future videos. Again, this fight is not over. Take care.